stands for. Yeah. So our vision as Alan, this is the vision statement. I believe you can see. We want to shape the future of legal practice management. How? By building professional competencies through strategic collaboration and thought leadership. Remember, this is the vision for Alan, and this is what we're going by. This is what will stand as our shaping the future of legal practice management by building professional competencies through strategic collaboration and thought leadership. And I move on quickly to the mission statement, which of course is inbuilt also in our vision. We will build professional competencies through strategic collaboration and thought leadership. One of the ways we are building these competencies is through these our learning sessions. And finally, the core values that tell us what we stand for. Alan Core Values is acronymed as CLEAP. It is a set of strong core values. The core values will drive our relationship with and our responsibilities to one another and to all our stakeholders. These core values reinforce our strengths and underscore our aspiration to become a great association. Every member of Alan is expected to live by these core values. So what does CLEAP stand for? What are these values? The first one, C, is creativity. We are innovative in our approach to creating sustainable legal management solutions and to adapting to the challenges emerging in our global environment. You know that everything is emerging. The world itself is not stable as is. So we will be adaptable. We will be able to adapt to the challenges emerging in the global environment, not just our immediate environment. And we encourage curiosity, new ideas, and design thinking. That is what creativity for us represents. Leadership, the L stands for leadership. Leadership means we exist to make impact, lead change initiatives, and we are focused on providing thought leadership and training that is geared towards building professional competencies for all legal business service professionals. That is you and I. Rather than people call us support staff or back office staff, we are legal business service professionals. Remember that, don't forget. Now, I in the CLEAP stands for integrity. Now, integrity for us is honesty, and integrity is the bedrock of everything we do. So honesty and integrity are bedrocks of everything that we do. It is our most valuable assets. We say what we mean, we do what we say we will do. That is what our integrity stands for. Now, the P in CLEAP stands for partnership. We promote dialogue, build bridges, nurture strong partnerships to create a cyclical flow of value and knowledge between all stakeholders in legal practice and management across Nigeria. That is what the P in CLEAP stands for. And finally, the E. Who will take a guess? Unmute and say it if you want to guess what E stands for. Anyone?
Excellence.
Absolutely fantastic. What's the name? Temidaya Taylor. That was you, right? You guessed right. Excellence. E stands for excellence, meaning we deliver more than what is expected by building a gold standard model of legal practice and an excellent community of lawyers, law firms, law organizations, and clients, meaning that our excellence cuts across all stakeholders. That is what our core values are. So that ends all the values that we have listed. So I've shared with you the vision for Alan, I've shared with you the mission statement for Alan, and I've also shared with you the core values for Alan. So very quickly, before we move on, just in 10 seconds, who can quickly run through the core values that we all must operate in? Acronym CLEAP, C for unmute, please, if you want to say something, just unmute and say it. C for, oh, no one has been listening?
Creativity.
Creativity. Thank you. L for
leadership,
awesome. I for
integrity,
yes,
partnership,
integrity. Yes.
and excellence.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Temidayo. I also heard Ijoma say something, and Margaret. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Now, without wasting much time, we will move on to introduce the speakers for today. And I'm going to also share the slides for the speakers so that we can go on. You can go along as we do that. Please let me know if you see my slides. Oh, sorry. I think I'm sharing the wrong one. I want to do a quick introduction of our speakers for today. Okay. Okay, great. All right. So the first speaker for today is our president, Joy Harrison-Abiola. Joy Harrison-Abiola is a leading legal management professional. She is the practice administrator of Denton's Acres Law, overseeing the business aspects of the law firm. Her passion is to increase organizational efficiency and to get everyone to work at their peak. In 2008, Joy was instrumental in putting together the first law firm management development program, MDP, at the Lagos Business School, Pan-African University, in collaboration with the Association of Legal Administrators, ALA, Illinois, in the United States of America. Joy holds a Bachelor of Arts degree and a Master's of Business Administration. She is a fellow of the Institute of Strategic Management, Nigeria, ISMN, a member of the Association of Legal Administrators, Illinois, and a member of the International Relations Committee, Africa. She is currently the president of the Association of Law Firm Administrators, Nigeria. Let's make a welcome for Joy Harrison-Abiola. Our second speaker is my humble self, and I'm currently the lead interface manager at Detail Commercial Solicitors, a non-litigation law firm in Lekki. I am a human resource professional with over 21 years experience working in a wide range of sectors, including banking, legal, FMCGs, consulting, and the public sector. I hold an MBA from the University of Liverpool and a first degree in English from Harrison-Abiola University. I'm a prolific speaker, life coach, and experienced training facilitator. My previous experience includes working as group head of HR with BGL PLC. I worked at GTB as a HR executive, First Bank PLC, and of course, NBC International Bank. I'm currently the vice president working with President Joy Harrison-Abiola of Alan, and I'm also an associate of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Nigeria. I also happen to be a member of ALA, that's United States ALA, Association of Legal Administrators, and I'm a member of the Society for Human Resource Management Stream, United States of America. And finally, our third speaker is Mr. Obioranya, better known as the Oracle. He is a facilities management practitioner and has been an administrator for many decades. He's a member of Nigerian Institute of Management, a member of Nigerian Institute of Safety Professional, Nigeria. He's also a member of Nigerian Network of NGOs. He's a member of the International Facilities Management Association, and of course, a member and a very active member of Association of Law Firm Administrators, Nigeria, ALAN. The Oracle will be taking us on containing costs from facilities management perspective. And that's our line of speakers for today. So without much ado, I would like for you to please wear your seatbelt, tighten your seatbelt, as I welcome Joy Harrison-Abiola, my president, to speak first on leadership. Over to you, Joy.
Thank you very much, Odun. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so today I will be taking my session dressed in daily, and that's interesting. And I feel absolutely comfortable. So no stereotyping. I'm as comfortable taking my presentation in gele as I will be comfortable also taking my presentation in a DKNY suit or a French, a Versace suit. So I'm breaking what? The bias. So be as comfortable receiving the few things I have to share with you as we run into my presentation. So, Odu, would you share my slide or should I share it from this end?
You can if you want to have control, except you want me to do it.
Please go ahead and share my slide because I'm right in the middle of somewhere interesting. So I would also go off the video for a few minutes while I take my slide. So I am very much Alan, but you have the Denton's background because we have a standard procedure that wherever I'm speaking, we should have the Denton's background. What I should have done actually was have the Denton's background and also the Alan background, which I am absolutely, absolutely proud of. So thank you very much, Odu. If you will share my slide, I really would appreciate it. So I'm speaking in the next couple of minutes on a subject that you are all experts at, you know, and we are going to be sharing some contemplations. We are going to be sharing some thoughts. And, but I just want to establish very quickly what the outcomes are. I have, together with my colleagues, been contemplating over the week, what really do we want to accomplish by this interaction? It's very important that wherever you dedicate your time to, because we are also Zoomified, that you have to be very careful how many meetings you get into, how you allocate your time. So wherever you allocate your time to, it's important that you are able to quantify what it is, what the lessons are, what the gains are for giving or investing your time in that conference, seminar, or meeting. So we've been able to outline about 3 or 4 things, outcomes that we desire from this interaction. Firstly, my topic is raising your leadership profile. Raising your leadership profile. Alan's 7 simple musts. So I made it we made it Alan's 7 simple musts because we want to model it, fashion it to be relevant to our association together. And so you could call it the 7 demandments if you like. You could also call it the 7 simple habits of raising your leadership profile. The truth of the matter is that even if you are the CEO of some of the leading corporations right now, Google, Ian, what's his name? The chap, Musk, or even if you are the president of America, whatever leadership position you may be occupying right now, the fact is that you can always raise your leadership profile. Leadership is such that it is a continuum. It's an ongoing thing, if you want to call it a thing. You know, you need to constantly be working at it. So our outcomes are, number 1, we desire very strongly that at the end of this session, we'll be able to know together and establish it once and for all, because it is one of our major pillars, that we are leaders. We are leaders, administrator leaders, if you like. We are leaders, and we can lead desired change. That is one of the outcomes we want from this interaction. Reminding ourselves again and again that we are leaders and that we can lead desired change, designation regardless of your designation. You, together, we can lead desired change or changes. Secondly, one of the outcomes is that we want to remind ourselves again the role that we have in improving individual, team, and organization-wide performance. I'll repeat that again. We want to be able to remind ourselves again that we are leaders and that we can lead change regardless of our designation, and that we have a role in improving our individual, team, and our organization-wide, our firm-wide performance. our role in improving our individual, team, and organization-wide performance. Thirdly, the overriding goal of this interaction is for every one of us, is to get all of us to give more to the association. The overriding goal is for us to take ownership of the association and become more active in the association. And lastly, if I must throw this in, the outcome that we are hoping we'll have from this interaction is to help all of us, myself inclusive, understand that we have a stake. I have a stake, you have a stake in every system you operate in. We have a stake, whether it's Nigeria as a nation, whether it's a family, whether it's your community, whether it's your firm, whether it's a church, whether it's this association. We need to remind ourselves that we have a stake and that we can grow that stake. We can grow our stake if we can position ourselves. The disposition we'll take will enable us grow that stake. So very quickly, I would request that if you are in a place that you can, please take out a sheet of paper and let it be a plain sheet of paper, and please draw a framework or draw like a table for me, having 4 columns in that table. Please, 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 please. If I was in my home, I would do that. I've already done it myself, even before I'm telling you to do it. Draw a table and let that table have 4 columns. The table can have as many what do you call columns and the other parts, as many as you like, but I need 4 columns. Columns and what? Or give it to me.
Rows.
Rows. God bless you. As many rows as possible. So first column, write K. Second column, write W. Third, write L. The fourth column, write M. Now, the first column, K. K stands for know. What I know about this subject. What is the subject I'm taking, the one Odu is taking, or the one Oracle is taking? The first column is know, what I know already about this subject. The second column, which is W, it stands for what I want to know about the subject. So that is the heading of that column. So your rows can be as many as you want to. Fill up that role as you like. The third column is L, meaning learning, new learning. I want you to put down in that new learning, the new learning you derive from this interaction, whether it's my topic, raising your leadership profile, Alan's 7 simple musts, or Odu's topic, or Oracle's topic. Then the last column, which is M, stands for model, and it means model. What more? It stands for model and it stands for more. What more do I want to know about this topic? And what do I model after this topic? What actions would I be taking immediately after this topic? Okay, so let's go into it. My table of content has 4 things. Number 1, we're looking at statistics. Number 2, we are looking at the Gallup's leadership grid. We'll look at a few definitions, and then we'll look at the 7 simple musts, Alan's 7 simple leadership musts, and then we'll bring it home. And then we'll talk about one of my favorite topics, dinosaurs. I'm enamored by the subject of dinosaurs. I will round up with that. So leadership statistics are the entire globe is littered with awesome leadership statistics that shows us that there is a gap in leadership. There is a huge gap in leadership. So we have over 7.8 billion people in the world, but the amount of leaders are so minimal that is incredible. So a 2016 Gallup poll shows that only 18% of managers demonstrate high-level leadership ability. 18%, a shocking 82% of managers are not good at leading people. According to a recent survey, also a recent result survey shows that half of the respondents said that their companies lack sufficient leadership talent, and 47% predicted there would be a shortage of leadership or executive level skills in the future. Now, there are leadership at all levels. Next slide. There are leadership at all levels. There is the political, there is the social, there is the leadership in entertainment, there is religious leadership. But for today, we are talking about leadership in business and, of course, leadership in our constituency, which is the legal industry. Report that leadership is lacking in their organization. Another poll reports that 14% of CEOs have their leadership, only 14% of CEOs have leadership talent they need. Over 3,000 CEOs were polled, and only 14% of the CEOs admitted they have the leadership talent they need to grow their businesses. Another poll from McKinsey tells us that a clear sense of purpose is crucial in leadership. But 82% of organizational leaders agree that that is crucial. Only 42 reported that their purpose statement delivers. So purpose statements are not even delivering on leadership. And there are more statistics if you are interested in it. Next slide. I think in 2016, there was a very profound leadership survey that was taken by 2 scholars with a project called Potential Project. 35,000 leaders were polled. Among those surveys, 35% identified that their bosses are major sources of stress at work due to poor leadership. 80% say that they will impact in their stress level. Leaders are supposed to be like coaches, pushing you on, egging you on to do more. But 80% says that if their leaders are changed, their stress level will reduce. That says a lot. A staggering 79% of employees say that they will quit because of their managers, and so on and so forth. Not to talk about women in leadership. There are statistics tells us that we have about 49.2 million females that make up the world's population. 42% of us, 49.4% of the world's population are women, but only 15% of women are on the boards of directors. So there is absolutely a gap in leadership. So what do we do? How do we respond to all these statistics, which we have better even in our own organization? Let us look at what Gallup's leadership grid says. And again, we have tried to model this grid to suit Alan. Similarly, this Gallup leadership grid says it all, but we modeled it. Number one, great leaders offer authenticity and transparency, fostering trust and open communications. Great leaders are driven, their decisions are driven by productivity. Productivity drives their decision, not politics, not emotion. We are great leaders. We at Alan, we motivate and engage our people with a compelling mission and vision. Great leaders foster a clear culture of accountability. When you see a great leader, the way they describe them is that he's carrying it on his head. They foster a culture of clear accountability. And lastly, great leaders drive outcomes, overcome adversity, and overcome resistance. So let us take the definition of a leader administrator given by a managing partner. One managing partner described a leader administrator as this. A managing partner's definition of an administrator leader: they are the ones who get things done. That's it, full stop. They make things happen. They play a key role in shaping the firm's business agenda. They badge their way through respectfully, refusing to take no for an answer, even when I give them hell. They keep coming back with a million reasons and with data to show why I should change my position. Next slide, looking at again at a few definitions of what a leader is. So this is the definition. A leader, leadership is influence. John Maxwell, that's the simplest definition. Leaders take hold of opportunities. So while administrators are waiting to be given permission to lead, leadership opportunities are passing us by every day, even in our own organization. Recently, we got a new definition of what POOR means, pour. It means passing on opportunities regularly. We can look at Stephen Payne's definition of leadership later when we have the time. Next slide. So what are the 7 musts that will raise your profile? The 7 simple Alan's leadership must. Number 1, to raise your profile as a leader, you must develop a sense of ownership. So whether it's Fumbi in the University of where she is in the UK, have a sense of ownership. I have a stake in this university. I walk the grounds of that university with a sense of ownership. So whether you are in Denton's Acres Law that has over 200 offices, or whether you're in detail solicitors or whatever your firm is, the first thing that will raise your profile is to develop a sense of ownership. Speak like the owner. Get rid of the I and the me pronouns and employ the we and the our pronouns. That means it is imperative that we must things. 3 things will make you an owner: vision, mission, values. You must be adept with the vision and the mission and the value of the system in which you operate in. And when you are adept at those 3 things, you will begin to speak with authority, with a measure of authority over those 3 things. That is the first must. We must develop a sense of ownership. The next must is that we must take advantage, full advantage of our positions. Most of us have not taken full advantage of our position. We still concentrate on the limitations of our position, not on its offerings. Your position, Debisi, has a lot of offerings. Your position in Ijoma has a lot of offerings that we do not take advantage of. Most times I concentrate on the limitations of my position, but understanding this will require that you constantly rewrite your job description. I believe I should write my job descriptions constantly, and I do that. I rewrite it over and over again, and I share it with my managing partner. Taking full advantage of your position also demands that you are proactive in setting your goals and targets for yourselves and discussing these targets with your managing partner. Let us learn to trigger our own performance discussion. Don't wait till the end of the year when your boss is or your managing partner is calling you up for discussion. You can say, Mr. Managing Partner, sir, how am I doing? Right? So we cannot act like secretaries, and no disrespect at all to secretaries. I have utmost respect for them, but we cannot act as secretaries and expect to be treated as CEOs. We must think in terms of projects, not in terms of activities or toiling or errands. Use your designation well, use it often, and so on and so forth. You can look at that must better. The next must is that we must learn to ask deep exploratory questions and learn how to listen in a reflective manner. You listen in a reflective manner by, after listening to your managing partner, you repeat what you have heard. You said, Mr. Managing Partner, sir, this is what I understand that you are saying. So always come from the position of inquiry. Be inquisitive. The questions we ask can make us look strategic or foolish. We must always ask questions. We influence more by what we ask than what we tell. Incisive questions that pushes the envelope. We are talking about raising the bar. We will raise the bar by questioning things. Our questions should generate debates and challenge the status quo. Our question would elevate us to thought leadership. For instance, in the platform very recently, I think it was Kimberly that was talking about her managing partner are getting very upset when she suggested that there should be WHF for staff as a result of by saying, sir, apologies that you feel offended. Do you feel that the suggestion to offer WHF to staff during this fuel crisis would reduce their productivity or impoverish the firm? That's a question to him. Why do you feel so, sir? As research shows that it is the exact reverse. Then you tell him about a recent survey, and a couple of our competitors, I know a lot of your colleagues, a lot of our colleagues told us what they are doing in their firms. So you say, oh, a number of our colleagues are doing A, B, C, and D. So instead of always just blending with the status quo, we should challenge the status quo. The next must is, I will just take it very quickly. We must go personal. To increase your leadership profile, you must take things personal. You must take care of your people, both your managing partner and the people below you. You must learn to show empathy. I have used this very often, and I'm amazed as to how my managing partner relates to it when I go personal. Not intrusive, but personal. You heard, oh, his mom or brother-in-law is ill, and you know about it. You go personal by asking, oh, how is he doing? You know, show empathy, take interest in what they are interested in, know their family, know their friends, know their hobbies, their aspiration, their interests. Most law firms have highly politicized and poor leadership cultures, but getting to understand your firms, define your partners. If you do not understand and use that understanding to develop your profile, it will be difficult for you to increase your leadership profile. Lastly, or two more, I think, we must be lifelong leaders. What book are you reading right now? Indeed, most of the leaders I know, they are reading 2 or 3 books at the same time. You must know what you are doing. The technical aspect of your profession, you must know. You must learn the fundamentals of legal administration. Becoming a thought leader is the natural consequences of applying fundamentals. So learn the basics, stick to them. You know, I know some administrators that don't want to learn the basics. They just want to use band-aid remedies, quickly pick the brains of somebody and say, oh, do this. But to understand and appreciate and embrace the fundamentals, that's how you become, you know, a leader. And when you have mastered the fundamentals, then you become familiar with new concepts. You must use new buzzwords. Use them well in your conversations. ECG, DEI, Internet of Things, quantum computing, GRIT, VUCA, it's all over there. We must be a person of letters. Being a lifelong learner means that you should write articles, send relevant articles to your partners, and you will watch your leadership profile increase. Last but not the least, we must be strong and courageous. I think on Do we talk about that. Personify presence and passion. Think about the air hostess. Even when there is turbulence, you notice how calm and professional they remain. To be able to do that, you must prioritize yourself. Your internal environment must be okay. You must sharpen the store. I am right now doing a deep dive into a concept that is called the use of self. And I'm going to quote a professor who I'm having a dialogue with sometime this month. He's one of the leaders of this thought, of this idea of the use of self. He said, the most powerful instrument we have in helping our firm navigate in these times is ourselves. The ability to use ourselves relies on the level of awareness we have about the impact we make and our ability to make choices to influence or modify that impact. Lastly, and most importantly, for your profile, your leadership profile to rise, you must network effectively. You must develop, strengthen, and pride in your association. They always say that it is not what you know, but who you know that will get you through the door. It is not just who you know, but who knows you, who knows Alan. And please look at that survey. The survey of Association of Career Management Professionals identified that networking is responsible for 70% of job placements. The survey reveals that 80% of top jobs are never advertised. They are gotten through what? Networking. Networking is essential. It is very, very essential. And like they said, our network is our net worth. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Bringing it home, I'm concluding, and I would advise that we take the slides and look at that slide, bringing it home. But I will jump that slide and let us know that business is constantly changing, and it will take us to keep adapting, adaptation. I'm going to leave that word with you. We need to adapt. New statistics have identified every day about leadership that there are increasingly the need for us to raise our leadership profile. And as we adapt, the bar is always rising. If we do not
Are you there? Can anyone hear? I think we lost Joy, or is it me?
We lost
Okay.
her. I lost her too.
We lost her.
Oh, all right. Okay, she'll be back in a minute. Sorry, the technology to no fail us. Welcome to Niger. I'm going to try and quickly contact her so she's aware that she's been thrown out, that she was rounding up. I think that's actually her last slide. So, yeah, should show that she still has. Sorry about that. Okay, she's
Hello?
back. Okay, you're back.
Can you
now.
hear me?
Yeah, we lost
Okay.
you for about 30
Yes,
seconds.
I'm sorry. Last slide I'll do. I was
Okay.
talking about my favorite dinosaurs.
Sorry, yeah.
So this
that one.
dinosaurs, thank you. So they existed 145 to 66 million years ago. And, you know, at that time, they ruled the world during the Cretaceous period. I mean, when I go to, anytime I travel to London, my favorite place is the London Museum, and it is free, where you have all kinds of
Creatures,
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
So they ruled the world 66 to 145 years ago. Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, sauropods, 700 species of them. In their days, they ruled. But right now, they are extinct. They are extinct. And go and find out, why did dinosaurs go extinct? They went extinct because they could not adapt. So let us raise the bar of leadership. Thank you so much, colleagues. Sorry I ran through it. I'm sure that my colleagues will do even a better job in taking it to the next level. Thank you so much. Bye.
Wow, let's give it up. Thank you, Joy. That was a good starting point for us at this event. If you want to clap, you can. There's a clap icon that I think you can use on your virtual screen. My own reaction is thumbs up. My reaction is thumbs up for a good presentation. Thank you. All right, we will move on very quickly because we are behind schedule. President took a bit of time because I'm a very strict timekeeper, and we will run very quickly to the next presentation, which I happen to be doing. And I dare say that I am going to ensure that I stick to my allocated time. I will really try. If you can see my screen, please let me see a thumbs up or something, or somebody can just unmute to let me know. And I will just.
Yes, we
I can see on
can.
the screen. You can.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so we're starting. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So the next presentation is the one I have titled GPS in a VUCA world. G stands for grit, and P for passion, and S for strength. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of people are asking, what is VUCA? Okay, but we will run through that very quickly. So our grit, our passion, and our strength in a VUCA world is what I'm going to be talking about. Now, what is the origin of VUCA? VUCA expands to actually mean volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. We all agree that we are currently in a world that is volatile, we're in a world that is uncertain, we're in a world that is complex and ambiguous. And I must say that not only the world, but also our immediate environment is volatile, is uncertain, is complex, and is ambiguous. Nothing is certain anymore. We're not sure of anything. Things happen so fast. And you're asking yourself, how do we deal? Before we go on to how do we deal, let me just quickly run for the reason of origin to know where VUCA actually was coined from. It was coined in 1987, so far back, based on theories of leadership given by two leadership lords. One is Warren Bennis, and the other is Bert Nanoth. They are expert visionary leaders, and they are the pioneer. One of them is the pioneer of the contemporary field of leadership studies. So they came up with this VUCA. Now, VUCA also owes its origin to United States military force in response to the collapse of the bipolar world war order. That was the collapse of USSR when the war happened, the first time. So they came up with it saying that, oh, we now have a world that is volatile, that is uncertain, that's complex, and that's ambiguous. And I must say that we need to know that the reason why VUCA has come into what we're discussing today is because it is now used in both business and investment context. Why? To describe complex organizations, complex problems, or the overall state of the world, as I said earlier. Now, why do we need to understand VUCA? VUCA provides a model to understanding difficult realities for organizations, and in this case, for us as law firms, a situation where you feel you have quite little control. Now, VUCA environments are common in life, and they're also common in business. So learning to navigate them is crucial to long-term success. That is why we are discussing it, because if you must thrive in an environment, you have to understand that environment and then learn how to overcome it. Now, for example, if you are thrown into the desert, if you knew that in deserts, sometimes, or rather, if you are told that, oh, you are going into the desert, prepare to go into the desert, okay? You that you know you are going into the desert, you know that that's not a time to take a thick jacket or winter jackets with you and all of that. You know that when going into desert, one of the most important things you must have is sunglasses, and then you have a scarf to wrap your hair if you're a lady, or even if you're a man. That's why people in the Middle East, they wear head wraps a lot, because sandstorm can happen all the time. Then when you are going in the desert, you are also prepared. You take water bottle with you and you fill it with enough water, because what you need the most may not even be food as it is. With a lot of water, you will survive. So the essence of understanding VUCA is that we need to understand the environment so that we can learn how to overcome it and how to deal. So in order to navigate into success, we need to understand VUCA and what needs to be done. Now, let's run through very quickly the elements of VUCA. One, the first V stands for volatility. This is a rapid and unexpected changes with unclear duration. Changes that happen that you don't know when it was going to end. Take, for example, the pandemic. It came upon us suddenly and it was fast. Before we knew it, the world has shut down. The world has changed. Business has changed. How business is done is changed. We moved from physical into the virtual, and it became the norm. So now that's volatility. It's rapid, it's unexpected, and nobody knew when COVID was going to end. We just had to brace it. We had to step over it. So sometimes these changes could be big, they could be small, and sometimes they are predictable, and sometimes they are unpredictable. Sometimes they are positive, and sometimes they are negative. Now that's volatility. Uncertainty, this is not knowing what will happen or what the future holds. And again, I will use the pandemic, for example. The pandemic has brought something to us now, right? And the truth of the matter is that it was a surprise. And before you knew it, everybody realizes the only way to to not die, so to say, is to get on technology and get people to work remotely. You know, so, and even another example that I would like to use is the current state of the Nigerian economy. Nothing is certain. Buhari can wake up today and just make a declaration or just cancel something. Look at the way the forex has been going. Nobody can say, oh, I can prepare to save a certain amount and this is how much it will equate to in dollars. It's not certain because tomorrow dollar can take a dive. Anything can happen. So that's uncertainty. Now, the C stands for complexity. Moving and connected parts with unclear causes and effects. Everything is just moving. The modern world is becoming more and more complex every day. So no, now they say the world has gone global. It has shrunk in size, so it's no more global. We are in a local world. Everything is interconnected. You now realize that even in your firm, you may have people working from Korea, from China remotely with you. That's the new, that's where we are. So you are now dealing with multiple cultures. You are dealing with all sorts of ideas from different angles. So everything has become complex. Now, ambiguity is what the A stands for. There's nothing like a one-size-fits-all anymore, okay? There's nothing like, oh, this is best practice any longer. Nothing is certain because what was best practice 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, may no more be best practice right now. So those are the elements of VUCA. Now, what can a VUCA environment do? Here is what I was able to glean and put together. VUCA environment can destabilize people, making them anxious. It can sap motivation. It can even thwart career plans. You can imagine a student in school, for example, who had hoped that, oh, I'm just going to go in and study medicine for 7 years. And then the next thing, the environment changes, ASU goes on strike. Government says, oh, we're shutting down, we're not paying them. And then somebody who was supposed to spend 7 years in school ends up spending 10 years. Now, that has affected the person's plan and career growth. Now, look at it in the context of us in a law firm also. Also, a VUCA environment can make constant retraining and reshaping a necessity. Now, one of the things that the situation in Nigeria has brought upon us is war of talents. It has also brought upon us what Busola tagged Japa syndrome in her presentation recently at Strictly Law Business. The Japa syndrome has made lawyers, you can wake up one day and a whole department or a whole practice area, they relocated to Canada. Now you have to retrain, you have to reshape, you have to do all sorts of things. Things are happening at the same time. Now, a VUCA environment can also take huge amounts of time and efforts to fight. As you are dealing with one, somebody else is resigning again and saying, I'm sorry, my relocation came through and I'm going. And somebody says, oh, I'm tired of working in the law firm, I want to go and do business. Or, oh, I realize that my side hustle is making a lot of money, so I'm going there. All sorts of things are happening. A VUCA environment can increase the chances of people even making bad decisions. Many people decided to relocate and they get there and sometimes they realize that, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have. I'm just using relocation example because that's the main thing that is happening to everyone right now. Everybody is running from the economy we are right now. Things are tough. Business is somehow, you know, so everybody is struggling. It can paralyze decision-making process too. A VUCA environment can jeopardize long-term projects, development, and innovations. It can overwhelm individuals, it can overwhelm law firms, it can overwhelm organizations, however big they are. VUCA environment also take its toll on internal culture. If you're not careful, you will realize that your culture is eroding. For example, if you stay away too long and people don't get to mix at work physically anymore, you realize that people have lost the sense of the culture of the organization and they started doing things in their own way, not remembering this is the culture and this is the traditional way how we do things. Also, a VUCA environment can even bleed inwards and create another VUCA environment even within your own organization. So that is why we need to look at how we can deal in this VUCA environment. Now, I would like to talk about examples of VUCA environments. The world, we have mentioned that already. The pandemic as we have it now is clearly a VUCA environment. Also, a rapidly growing organization, such as a law firm that is rapidly growing, it's also a VUCA environment because things will be happening at the same time. A lot of things will also be uncertain because changes and rapid changes will start to happen. Also, an unstable economy with unstable polity, such as Nigeria, is also an example of a VUCA environment. Now, take a moment here. I'd like for us to I mean, and in this case, please, if we can just spend, I have 10 minutes to go, if we can spend 3 minutes to look at this. What are the challenges of VUCA in relation to law firms? If if we can please raise your hand, and then I should be able to see and call. And if I can, just unmute and say what comes to mind when we are trying to identify the challenges of VUCA in our law firms. What can we say? Maybe 1 or 2 mentions, please.
The culture.
Culture. Could you just say a bit more?
Okay, like if you're trying to come in with some fresh ideas, the culture, the present culture, the current culture can hinder it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it can
so
hinder
meaning
it,
that,
and it can hinder it and even demotivate you, because you don't even know how to start, because they might be so driven by the culture that's already there, and so you are not able to like bring in what you want to
new
bring
ideas and all that. So people are still holding on to, this is how we've been doing it. This is how we must continue, not knowing that the world has become VUCA and people need to move with what's happening at that time. Thank you for your contribution, Temidayo. Anyone else?
Sorry, I'm using my mobile, so I couldn't find the raise hand icon.
Please go ahead.
Recently there's riding on what Temidayo said. There's a D now that's been added to VUCA, so it's now VUCAD.
VUCAD,
and
okay.
That's, yes, and the D stands for disruption. So the world is no longer how we know it, and one of the things that we continue to struggle with as law firms is that most of our founding partners who are still in business, belong to that world, that's struggling to accept that things are no longer the way it should be. So there's a constant culture clash, and which, in the long run would impact innovation, would impact your retention, so it's a whole 9 yard.
Yeah,
so
that's correct.
Yeah, we can't shy away from it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. One last person, if there's anything different. If not, we'll just move on.
I think for me, Odunola, Odunola,
can you hear me? Right,
yeah. I think this is Debbie C from Templars.
Debbie C, fantastic. Hi, Debbie C.
Yes. Hi. So I think for me, it's trying to measure productivity effectively. Because people are working from all parts of the world now, like you said, you have people working out of the country, and you work in the same firm, some you've never met before, because of this current hybrid culture brought about by the pandemic. People are working maybe 2 or 3 days out of the office, difficult to bring the team together, difficult to harness team bonding. And sometimes also difficult to measure productivity, because you don't know what people are doing when they're out of the office. I mean, someone will give you excuses, oh, I have bad internet connection. Those are the vagaries of the current world anyway. I mean, so it's a very ready excuse. So I think for me, it will be effectively measuring productivity will be the one for me.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, maybe in the question and answer time, we can have more people contribute. I want to move on. But at least we've seen, so the point of this quick few minutes exercise that we've done is so that everyone can start thinking, okay, of what the challenges that VUCA has brought. Because when you identify a challenge, then your answer is imminent. You now know the solution and how to go about it. Now, here is what I've been able to bring up in my own research in handling, in ways to deal with VUCA. So the way forward in a VUCA environment is tagged VUCA Prime, and I dare say VUCAD Prime now with the disruption added. So the VUCA Prime, in which the acronym, instead of the VUCA that we had talked about, now stands for Vision, Understanding, Clarity, and Agility. It's a model to help organizations succeed in the VUCA world. Now, this framework will also help lawyers and legal professionals, and I dare say us also, legal business support professionals, in finding footing in this environment to be able to make difficult decisions and also thrive, which is the focus of what we're trying to do here. So breaking it down, in a VUCA world where you have Volatility, meaning that, you know, the legal industry, firm operations, or client demands feel like they're changing so rapidly and you can't keep up. Every day feels like it's constantly disrupted, like Kelly mentioned with the D, right? And you don't know where to focus your efforts. What's to be done? VUCA Prime mindset says, embrace the unknown, take time to get clarity on why you got even into the legal environment in the first place and what you want to achieve. Now, for lawyers, they need to know this is what they need to do. For us, as legal support, business support professionals, we're here because we want to help them run that business and run it so well, you know, to profitability. So remember the vision that you have, what you need to do, seek out resources to understand. Joy was sharing when she was speaking about the fact that we need to upgrade ourselves, learn, pick up something, read more, do researches, how to tackle different problems, seek out resources to understand the challenges and the opportunities that also lie ahead of you. Look at the current situation, even as a high level, not as, you know, she used an example loosely, MD and secretary. If you want to think like if you think like a CEO, you will be treated like a CEO. Don't just think like someone that has to be told what to do. You need to now be strategic, okay? Reflect, brainstorm, think of what needs to be done, look at the current situation and articulate the future that you want to achieve with what needs to be done. Now, the typical behavior you will see in VUCA will be risk aversion, avoiding risk, oh, let's return to normal, and let's be doing it the way we've been doing it. We don't need to disrupt. But the truth of the matter is we have to, because the world is forcing us even to be disruptive. So the new behavior to embrace is self-reflection, and then you brainstorm, think with other people. And Alan, I dare say, is also here for you. We're here for you to brainstorm. People drop things on the WhatsApp group. Oh, guys, this is what I'm trying to propose. What do you think? What are you doing in your own area? So that platform is also good for brainstorming. Now, the second one is the U, okay? Where you have volatile market situations, where, I mean, that's uncertainty, where you feel you don't have the facts, you need to understand what you're doing or what's happening. It becomes difficult to commit to a plan or to carve a chart forward. And then you start experiencing analysis paralysis. What's to be done? The recommendation for VUCA Prime mindset is understanding. Identify the key factors that can influence your decision-making process. Seek out what you need to create a better path forward. Accept the old ways of doing things may not work anymore. Don't hold on to the old ways like the old managing partners of the baby boomer world and, you know, those Y generation. Embrace what's happening. You know, some people found it difficult to accept the fact that it's possible to work remotely and work productively. People still think, no, if I don't see you physically, you are not working. I agree that there will be ways, there are challenges in terms of not knowing whether people are working or not, but guess what? There's a solution to that. There are technologies that can aid that, and that's the way we should start thinking as legal business support professionals. Accept that the old way is gone. That's the truth. There's nothing you can do about it. Embrace the new way. Prepare to create a better new normal, because we have a new normal. So what you do is engage with others in dialogue and reflect on learnings. Now for the C, that is complex, you know, chaos, confusion, which typically will lead to you being defensive, multiple factors and things are impacting your firm's ability to succeed. Clients are making unrealistic demands for pricing, lowering, everything is just complex. Normally, you would be defensive or not quick to taking decision making and all of that, but what needs to be done with a prime set, with a prime mindset, VUCA Prime mindset, is we focus, communicate the firm's purpose, the goals, seek feedback, understand why your clients are making these decisions, why are they demanding for lesser prices, why are the managing partners making this demand of lawyers, what can you do as a business support professional, as a practice administrator, to ensure that there's clarity and everything works together and we achieve a common goal. Identify where you can make small changes that will impact the big goals at the end of the day. Create a plan. Create a plan to ensure that priorities are focused on and you avoid risks that are unnecessarily. Document your plan, explore operational changes, and that's our role as a business support professionals. Explore operational changes and take actions. Present your case forward with facts, with good research, and speak from the place of knowledge. You will be listened to. And finally, the A. The A is ambiguity. Because you're unsure of what's happening around you, you may question how your firm can make impact or who should be responsible for what. And then you are questioning yourself that, okay, are you even making impact as a practice administrator? Are you able to help them foster way forward? The outcomes of your choices may seem unclear, so you start to doubt yourself. You start to hesitate that, oh, with this new thing that is happening now, am I even recognized? I remember telling my team members when COVID happened and we all stayed at home, I told them that it is your responsibility to make yourself relevant. Now that admin cannot be in the office, that's my timer. Now that admin cannot be in the office to manage facility, to do this, to do that, you have to do something that will show that you're working. You have to make yourself relevant. So in this case also, don't self-doubt, don't hesitate, don't lack collaboration, seek collaboration. What you need to do, become comfortable and be agile. Be flexible, move into the new wave. What's happening there? Figure out ways to get things done. Be bold and be courageous about this whole thing. And that's where strength comes in. The situation has happened. You don't shy away from it. What needs to be done? Where you lack knowledge, where you don't know technology that can be recommended or anything, go and do research. Read up, find out what technology you can recommend so that they will know that, oh, okay, our practice administrator knows something. Don't just say, oh, I'm not an IT specialist, I'm just an administrator. Oh, I don't know accounts, so I can't say what app we can use to make clients pay online or something. No, we have to be agile and adapt to situations that have come upon you. Have dialogues with firms. Even if you talk to your lawyers, you will see that you can learn also from them on what they prefer, what's happening to them, what's not working, so that you are clear about what can work for everyone. The way people are thinking during this VUCA period, everybody is thinking differently. And you can't assume you know what's on everybody's mind. So sometimes it helps to have dialogue with these lawyers to find out how they're doing, what they're struggling with, what they're doing. All of that will help you to come up with, maybe it's a policy or something you present to management that can aid their being happy and having job satisfaction, which ultimately translates and makes your work better. Because when people resign and you have high attrition, the struggle becomes yours. So that's how to deal with that. So embrace the new world, you know, with an open mind, and then have a growth mentality and also lead by example. So quick tips to round up, and this will be my last slide before I move on to the next speaker. Basically, what I have tried to say in all I have said can be summarized in these 5 tips. Anticipate the future. Avoid traditional and outdated approaches to leadership and management. Find new ways of doing things. A fresh approach will always guarantee positive results where you have changed circumstances. Also, develop empathic behavior. That is why I said you need to talk to your lawyers, know how they're thinking, know what they're feeling, know what's going on in their minds, you know, be more emotionally intelligent, basically, you know, so that you relate with people and understand their needs. And finally, adapt to this oscillating environment. Increase your capacity, focus on your self-growth, avoid being transactional, and be more strategic. So for me, these are my suggestions with respect to VUCA. This is a very large framework that I saw online, and I think it's something I can share. This was done by someone, you know, VUCA leadership, and this will tie in with what Joy had shared with us earlier, the 7 musts, or the Allen 7 musts of leadership for us. So I will share this with you, and we can look through and think through how this can be of help to us in raising the bar of our leadership. So these are my end notes, just basically references from areas where I have looked at and read up on VUCA. So thank you very much all. Thanks for listening. So I will stop sharing, and at this time, I will welcome the next speaker. That's Oracle, Mr. Obiora Anyanwu. Over to you, Mr. Obiora. I will share your screen, or would you rather share your screen?
No, go ahead. Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Joy, our president, and Odon, our vice president. What more can you ask for when the top echelon of the executives? I'm just feeling sorry for anybody who is missing today's lecture series. I say welcome all. I am going to be talking on facilities management, helping to contain costs in these difficult times. You know, it is, I know that a lot of people will be wondering when we're talking about costs and containing of costs in our organizations, why is the accounts department or the finance department not being called? Why is it the facilities? Well, that's why the Alan Learning Series, the faculty always think far and deep about certain things, and they do analysis of our organizations before coming up with topics in the series. A lot of organizations bury the importance of the facilities department or even the cost implication of facilities department in their day-to-day running. Somebody who saw this preparation for this lecture asked me, said, "Guy, facilities departments are licensed to spend money. How come you are calling you to come and talk about how to save money?" I said, well, if you were opportune to be at today's lesson, at today's lecture, you will know that facilities department also helps to save money. Now, can I have the next slide? Yes, we are today going to talk about how to help our organizations save money and minimize costs or maintain our cost levels. But unfortunately, don't be disappointed if we don't talk about salaries, how to increase or lower salaries, how to make profit for the organization and all that, or how to keep your account books or the bank books, or how and where which banks to patronize that will give you better, interest and returns on your investments or your savings with them. Now that we're going to talk about staff reduction or how to keep or maintain certain level of staff and all that. And then looking at all this, you'll be wondering, okay, if these are not what we are going to talk about, what are we really going to talk about today and what facilities going to offer? To get into that, I would like you to know a little bit of really what facility management is all about. It is the coordination of the physical components of a space, the people and the services of an entity to achieve a self-functional, efficient, and timely result. Now, the effective integration of man, material, space within a time frame that ensures safety, durability, comfort, and the optimum output of service is facilities management. That last word, optimum output of service, can be translated to adding of value or even profit. So now, indicators before you can be relied upon as a facilities manager or a facilities personnel, or you can be looked upon to add value to your firm or your organization, you have to have this a little bit of the following characteristics. One is you should be able to manage yourself. You should be someone who is proactive, someone who keeps to time, somebody who knows that, look, the way I manage things, the way I then move you to time. Whatever we do, no matter what in life, we must be time conscious. Time waits for no one. If you're asked to deliver an office equipped and functional, even if you're not given time frame, you must know that the people that ask you to deliver this require this to be done within a time frame. You should be able to be somebody who can manage time. You should be able to be somebody who needs to be in the office at a particular time, knowing that other departments depend on facilities to make things functional for them to come into work. You should be able now, in talking about this, some facilities managers always put man management before resource management, but I always bring up the resources management first because I believe resources are dispensable. Not only that, there are things that you can replace. You can't replace man. You can be allowed, or it's allowed if you make mistake while trying to manage resources or trying to learn in how to manage resources. Or you cannot be forgiven if you manage man and somebody dies or somebody passes away, or from your mistake, somebody. So you should, after being able to manage time, manage yourself, manage time, you should be able to manage resources, manage the environment. You should be able to work with minimum supervision. At that level, you can be comfortably be placed as a manager of man, because life of people and their comfort is very, very delicate. I don't know any other thing in the world that is more delicate than the life of somebody. Forget the rate at which people are dying and we're losing lives in this country. Life is the most precious thing on earth, basic and simple. Then the fifth one is mixed matrix. At this point is where you mix the man and the resources. Resources in this case could be your raw materials. It could be your machineries. It could be the building. You throw them all into that resources. It means how do you manage all these things with man? Man in this time being the people under you. You're now handling a department. How do you relate? What leadership qualities do you give? What is your management principles? What is your personal interaction with other people and other departments in the office to make sure that this our firm moves and stands strongly? So when you get to that fifth level of being able to mix the matrix, definitely, naturally, you fall into the category of a facilities manager. Now, containing costs, which is actually where we are coming to, which is the major issue here. Let us look at where we are operating at. Cost containment and management varies from place to place. In your office environment, you are talking about different kinds of costs, fixed costs, opportunity costs can come in. You are talking about some costs, out of pocket costs, variable costs and all that. There's costs in everywhere. The in everything. So in your home, in your office, in your factory, wherever, you must be able to identify certain costs as a facilities person. And from the facilities angle, the first and most important aspect of identifying costs and managing costs is the space management. Space management, space allocation. In real sense, irrespective of who your CEO is, the owner of the company and all that, no office can actually, office space can actually give anything optimum beyond the space of 8 to 12 square meters. 8 to 12 square meters is enough space for anybody to play around with and still give value to the company. In most companies or offices, you find out that space are wasted. A lot of space are running around. The manager takes space, the supervisor takes space, and when you walk into their offices, you see a lot of space. But the problem is that what they don't realize is that for every space, when you rent an office space for 100 million or thereabouts, every space, each square meter counts. Each square meter has taken from that money, and each square meter should be able to produce something. As we go on, you will learn under the management of space, how you can from the space where you work. So in offices, try to manage the space, or let's advise that spaces, every office space should not take anything. The table, the work table, the workstation should not be more than 1.5 meters. 1.5 meters is roughly, when I put my finger like this, I'm, count out in 5 places. You're roughly getting 1.5 meters of table. So the rest space is an office space of 10.
Looks like Oracle dropped off. I'm sure he will join us. Just a quick one. If you have questions, okay, he's back. If you have questions, please drop your questions in the chat box. Right after Oracle's presentation, we will take questions and then we will close. We're trying to keep to time so we don't engage your entire afternoon. Questions on the chat, please. Oracle, are you back?
Yes, I am here. Thank you.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, please. So spaces in your office matters. Make every space count. Now, office facilities and furnitures, whatever you're deploying, let it be something that is functional, that it is needed. So in some offices, they decorate their office simply because they have seen somebody else decorate their office, or they've gone to office and all, but they do not ask, what did it cost to deploy this, and what value is it bringing? Why dress up an office or a space where you host people only once in a year? That space is absolutely wasting. You have to apply flexible space. In some offices, when you need to, or when they need to do renovation and all that, they bring in block works and all this and all that. It costs more money and it's less flexible. You cannot shift things around. Rather do flexible renovation. Put up flexible partitioning that can easily be shifted, adjusted at every. I'll keep trying as much as possible. The network that is fluctuating, I'll try as much as possible to be as fast as possible so as I can run through the whole. Then, flexible internal non-block walls also takes care of that. Hot desking. We now know that whether we like it or not, COVID had made us more intelligent, forced us to hot desk. What is hot desking? It means do not assign desk to any particular person. Rather, make a table, a desk functional. Let the power source be there. Let the data source be there. Let the voice source be there. So anybody, when I come with my laptop, I should be able to plug and play on that desk. When I'm not there tomorrow, if it's an office that's working 3 days, on 3 days off, in which you rotate staff, if any other staff comes, that place is ready, functional for that person to use. But when you assign desks and say, this is my desk, that is my desk. When I'm not there, okay, if I'm on leave, that desk is just sitting there. Every facilities within the office is just there, wasting. It is money. It's not accounting for anything. When you check your rent for that space at the end of the year, you have not brought any value through that space, wasted space. Flexible shelving. Of course, we need to shelve, we need to stock, but there's something called flexible and collapsing shelves. Even in offices and in your stores, you deploy all this. It helps you to save space and accommodate more, rather than going to rent a whole hall where you have to stock your things and all this and all that. And you found that, yes, there are spaces from maybe the middle of the wall to the roof. You have a lot of space. Rather, I deploy flexible shelving that are collapsible, and you could as well adjust easily. It's cheaper. Then avoid floor-based air condition management system, that cooling system. Please avoid placing your air conditioners on the floor. There are floor air conditioners, and there are wall air conditioners, and there are split air conditioners. The split and the ceiling are the most ideal. It gives you room to use the spaces from the floor to where the AC is up there. But when you place it on the floor, automatically it takes that space. There's nothing you can do with the space on the floor where you put a cooling system. So try to avoid that to make better use of that space. Economize storage and holding bays. There are a lot of offices that you go, you see a lot of things that they should have done away with time are still there, being stored. It's your space, it's your office, but the question is that thing sitting there with that space sitting there, what money is it bringing? But you are paying the rent for it. Even if it's your own building, you're paying for the servicing of that space. So let's try to economize this storage and holding bay, dispose of things that need to be disposed as fast as possible. Again, technology is a
Is it frozen again? Unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Containing costs through recycling. Disposable time frame. Now we have, like we are saying, the storage issue that we are discussing about. There are a lot of things that we need to dispose of: old air conditioners, old typewriters, old, computers. You can minimize the cost of this by having a time frame that, look, everything that is not being used must go within 1 year. Within that time, you get management to buy into it. That policy that, look, the systems that the laptop, the systems, the air conditioner that we are no longer using, we either dispose them off or we send them to NGOs, but or sell them to staff at reduced price. But they need to go because the space is needed. Don't hold things for long. Do not store things for long. They are occupying spaces that you need to be productive. Printing policy. This is an area, a turning area in office, in fact, because a lot of offices and firms do not even realize the cost, what it costs them to print and print. Yes, forgiven that our own area, the law firm, law practice actually needs a lot of printing. You know, when you do have to take things to court and all this and all that. But there can be policies that know the final printing that should be done should be that which is going out. Every draft should be, you know, reviewed on the system. I finished my draft. I want my president to help me and look at it. I send it to her through the system. She takes her time, reviews it and all that, send it to the vice president if need be, she reviews it. At that stage, all that stage, we have not printed a copy. And it has been reviewed. Only the final copy, if there's a managing associate or a senior associate, a HOD that needs to review it, he reviews it before the final copy is printed. It saves you printing. 4 years ago or thereabout, a carton of A4, 5 reams, used to cost 5,000. Today, as I'm talking to you, it is 11,000. That's a lot of money. And then when you have things to be reused, things that can be reused. For example, if you can see, this is an envelope, if all can see what I'm showing. Now, this envelope came with just this document sent to me. I removed the document. There's nothing else I'm doing with this envelope. But front and back of the envelope are still neat. Now, it was addressed to the Oracle, Alan Secretariat, Ikoyi. Right, you can see it there. I even, you know, marked it out with highlighter. But the rest of the space, nothing. Now, what I'm doing is that I'm actually recycling this envelope. I have sent a letter. I'm sending a letter to IFMA, International Facility Management Association, the chairman, Yaba. And all I did on top was reroute the addressing. I said from the address that it was originally sent to me. And I said to, and then put the next address. The envelope is still clean and neat. This envelope will fly. It is going. It will serve its purpose. So it does not cost me another envelope from my own office, but yet it will do the job that it is supposed to do. Twice, it has come to me, I've used it, and I'm sending it out. So let's encourage the reusable habit and policy in our firms. And let's get management to buy into this point, because the problem, like somebody said, the older partners, legacy partners who are still with the old mentality, they don't like all this. Seriously speaking, I had a partner who does not like printing front and back. He likes printing. It was a war. But the more you present it and you present the cost, like Odun said, present the cost of what the difference to the management, they will buy into it. And then you will have that printing policy in place. You have the reusable policy in place. Downward cascading. You are a manager. Expected to a director. I definitely am not expected to maintain that office. So what happens? You don't throw it out. You don't throw it away. You cascade it downwards. Who is the next person? You move it to. Now, does the head office need to revamp everything, all furnitures and everything? Not bad idea. But what do you do with what you're throwing away? A lot of them are still good. A lot of can be fixed. Think of the outstations. Think the up-country offices. Package all this, refurbish them, fine, and send. You will find out that the cost of doing that and delivering it to the up-country office is far less as compared to total renewal of the up-country office. And these things will work. Then we'll go to containing costs through inventory. Look, as the last point says, if you don't know what you have, you don't know what it costs. We should have inventory log books, no matter how little what we have in our stores or in our offices. There must be inventory. Everybody's doing remote work and all that. You don't carry desktop for remote work and all that. You carry laptops, but the day the laptop gets missing, how do you know? How do you account for it? And in a law firm of maybe 100 people, 100 laptops, one could be missing for 2-3 days. Nobody will know until damage is done. But when you have inventory logbook, each person that takes anything must log, must sign in, no matter what, no matter where. You can have an electronic inventory that automatically does, or you can have manual. Start manually, get exercise books, record everything. Records are very, very important. There must be log of everything in the store. There must be log of everything within the office, starting from the CEO's office to the gate man. Whatever is yours, whatever belongs to the firm has to have a register. Asset tagging, tag every asset. It is very important, especially portable assets like laptops and all that. And if possible, tag them with electronic tagging so that when it goes beyond the gates or the door, automatically it triggers off. In fact, there are some that are programmed in such a way, when that equipment goes beyond the door of the office without being cleared, it will never work. Tag your assets is important, no matter how little it looks, even if it's damaged assets. When you are going to dispose it of, you deactivate the tagging on it. That way accountability comes for facilities and saves you money. Secured space. Let me take a library, for example. A lot of us do not know or cannot imagine that a book, one book in our library costs more than a laptop of 300 and something thousand naira or the work, because that book is not moving, or because that book is not used every day. Nobody knows the value until when you look at it and what it contains. Then that's when you learn not to judge a book by the cover. The library should be secured. It should be a place where it's not everybody is allowed, but you will be allowed with specific clearance. You will have cards or any form of admission that admits you into there, recorded either electronically or manually. That saves your expensive books. Even there's no book in the library that's not expensive. Go and price law reports. I remember in those days, law reports were about 2 naira or 3 naira. When Ganifa and them were in charge. Go and price law reports today. So secure your spaces, secure your offices, have access cards for people. A law firm is a firm that people entrust with their life. If a client comes and asks you for their will and you're talking, let's look for it, man, you're already at the door for them. So secure your space. That saves us money, saves us problem. Litigation for a document that you miss, a client document that is missing, can lead to the close down of the firm. That is a lot of costs. Next slide, please. Now, containing costs through budgeting. Yeah, we know we're going to talk about all that financial aspect, how to put our books in order, but it's good to have budgets department by department. There's law firms, especially maybe when there are less than 10 or 20 people in their law firm, they make the mistake of having a central budgeting where you think you know what another person needs, or where you think you know what is going to happen tomorrow. It's rather better that you have department draw up their budget and then you review it in management meeting. Now, the good thing about having department draw up their budget is that it also allows the members of that department to know the cost implication of what it takes to run the office. And once they know conscious, when you're preaching to them of how to manage things, they don't just understand it. But if it's something that went through them, that they saw it in black and white, they were able to calculate it 2 and 2, then they will also reason with you, no matter how difficult the person is. Departmental inventory is just like what I talked about. You should have records of every department, even if the whole firm has its own central record. Every department should have its own record. It saves us a lot of money, and it helps you in locating anything that is being looked for, minimizing the time for that, minimizing the cost for that, and most especially the cost for replacement, if any is gone. Now there's something called CPM, critical path method. This is where in a firm, you look at the most important things that you want to spend, that you know you cannot compromise but spend on. Things like the accounting package that the account department needs. Things like the software that the IT department needs to run the whole firm and all that. You know, and when doing that, you patronize known brands. They might be expensive at the initial stage, but maintenance and running costs goes down drastically and you are more stable with them. You understand? So think critically and align your costs in the firm and help the firm. You advise. Now, a lot of us are not even in the, I'm not in the HR department. I know nothing about HR, but there are certain things that I might come across. Product information, please throw it to them, pass it to them. If it does not even apply to you presently, it might apply to other parts of the firm. It helps us in cost management. Purchasing policy, this is where there is always a battle. Now, you send somebody, gets me ACK files. The person thinks they know what to do, where to do, and how to get it. The person just goes out, runs costs, buys ACK file, and brings for you to do the job. And then when you raise the question, how much did this cost? The person was like, why are you asking how much? All you needed was this ACK file to open a file for clients. So there should be purchasing policy. We should be able to run a purchasing policy and make the management buy into it on what to buy, when to buy, where to buy it, and then approving authority. It helps to cut down costs. You cannot give a contract to your brother because it's your brother. Meanwhile, he's selling inferior goods to your firm. Market survey. A facilities person must do market survey to compare and contrast. How much is this being sold? Market sold in Ikoyi are obviously more expensive than the ones sold in Lagos. But you have to know the difference and know the advantage of it all before you can get into that. Containing costs through maintenance policy. We should always advise preventive maintenance. When we deploy things, you deploy the printers that you have in your office, the systems, the air conditioners, and all that. What kind of maintenance policy, preventive maintenance, do you want to deploy? Annually, monthly, periodically. The fact is that you must have a maintenance policy, periodic maintenance of these things. If not, they will break down. When they break down, it's more expensive to repair or replace than to maintain. You should also have a maintenance log so that the maintenance personnel does not cheat the firm or does not just bring anything up to tell you that this is the cost of what we spend. There must be somebody to tick off, to sign off what was maintained, when it was maintained, how it was maintained, and why it was maintained. The use of OEM, original equipment manufacturers or sellers, try to get original equipment. Like I said, originally it takes, at initial stage, it's expensive, but maintenance and running makes it, very, very comfortable. In-house maintenance, let people in-house, let the facility people learn also to maintain certain things in-house, things that can be maintained, and also be able to run the firm. Even if it's a major maintenance that requires, a professional to come in, let it be managed to a level that can be sustained till that person comes. Outsourcing, checks and balancing. If you run a hotel that has 100 air conditioners, definitely there's no way the internal maintenance person can be able to handle that. You need to outsource it, but you need to also check that the people is being outsourced are the professional people who know how to handle it. At what cost? You do that market survey and then check balance that who can do it better at a better cost. Containing costs under utility audits, another aspect that drains the cost of the firms without us knowing. Utilities, these are power, telephone, water, basically. And the question is, how many of us even bother telephone or the firm spends on power? In a firm like in Ikoyi, you are likely to have NEPA or public power supply. You have a generator, and you probably have private power producers supplying you 3, but at least 2 that you will have. You should be able to know which you are using and at what cost it comes, and try to minimize this cost. Install prepaid meters. No matter how you're sharing a building, ask the property owners to install prepaid meters, which is a checker for you to know how much power you're consuming. And of course, instill discipline in the office. The time that it should be shut down. Now, the aspect that creates problem is diesel and the quantity and quantity. There need to monitor diesel consumption. What is the capacity of the generator? You need to do audit of it to know how much diesel, the quantity of diesel it consumes per hour. Telephone, there has to be discipline and monitoring. There has to be time. There are offices that time phone, call out phone. Once your a call is originating from the office, it does not go beyond 10 minutes. You need to replace it. That way, you know that you have to, actually discuss what you need to discuss within a time frame, and not to just drag the discussion, running course on the firm on the telephone. We go in, we open, a lot of people, even in my own, a lot of staff go in, open the tap, wash their hand, do this, and walk out without caring to close it. Install equipment and taps that do not exceed maybe 30 seconds, 1 minute, no matter what you're doing. You have to on it again. That saves you water and that saves you cost. A lot of us do not know there are costs in all this because we are not in that department. We are not in accounts. We do not have them. But when you are part of the budgeting, at the beginning of the year, you will see how much is spent on utilities. Structural layout.
Okay, you're back. Please go on.
Yeah, I'm back. Structural layout. Allow for more. That's why this structural layout came under utilities. Design your office in a way that you have more natural light coming in, more natural air coming in. In that way, you do not have to install a lot of diffusers that consume a lot of electricity power, that consumes a lot of energy. If you have a lot of light coming in from your windows and all that in such a way, and it's very breezy, you do not need a lot of air conditioners. And if a situation where you install an air conditioner, please shield the windows. That extends the life of the air conditioner. That consumes less power to run the air conditioner. That takes shorter time to cool the space that you need to be. Install water control system, just like we have discussed, time log and telephone logs. Thank you. Containing costs through ownership. This is where that space allocation comes to. Then, for every firm, I advise, when you're taking in new intakes, make them understand the cost of the space you are allocating to them. Once they understand the cost of the space they are allocating them, make them understand that this space that's been allocated to them is actually their own. This space will pay your salary. From this space, the work you do, billable work you do, will determine if you are going to retain this space. In that way, they will realize that it is not faffing time. Once you are in the office, you're there clearly for business. And the person understands that the 10 square meters or less allocated to him, the table allocated to you, all are costs, all have cost implications. And this space that's being made yours is more like it is your home. What would you have done if you own it? So firms should make staff or new intakes understand the importance of owning a space for themselves. Clear terms of engagement should be engaged to let people understand what the do's and the don'ts of an office environment, what is expected and what is not expected. Self-accounting, every department, everybody should be able to say what they do and how they do it. And that also comes under appraisal. But there's also something called self-accounting where they self-appraise themselves. Containing costs through training. Induction, onboarding, training. No matter how you assume that somebody knows how to use something or your equipment, the equipment the person is coming from might be different from where the person is coming to. Do an induction, takes everybody through the whole office. It helps the psychology of the person and it reduces cost and time of working. When you send somebody from here to the file room, go and fetch me the file, the person cannot stop on the road and be asking, please, where is the file room? It's already killing your time and killing his or her own time and wasting time of the client. General training and retraining, everybody practically. There are some firms that do twice a year, they do HSC training for everybody. Everybody engages in internal HSC training. Do training for everybody. Advocacy, try to make everybody understand the importance. Approach to people, approach to your your colleagues, approach to your team leaders, approach to those under you to understand the importance of managing every office facilities and equipment, including the building itself, in the right way. Everything cannot be done by force, but everything can be done by understanding and communication. Encourage self-development. The fact that you are a lawyer does not mean you cannot learn actually how to switch on the inverter. That doesn't mean you cannot learn how to actually operate one or two things in the office and run the office if you happen to be the only one. Everybody should be encouraged to train. Even in the facility department, people should be encouraged to specialize in certain things. And if a firm goes through that policy with time, you will hardly need to outsource your maintenance and all that. That also applies to the professionalism in which people should specialize in particular areas, which they can be called. If you have professionals in your IT department, software and all that, you can easily send them anywhere to any of your branch to take care of such problems, not that they have to outsource from somewhere else. Thank you. Next slide. Next slide, please.
Yeah, it's on. Is it not showing? Can anyone see my slide?
Can you see it?
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We can you move to the next slide?
Yeah, I already did.
Yes, appreciation of facilities managers. Yes.
Yeah.
This practically applies to everybody, but because this is coming from the facilities perspective, listen to the facilities manager and personnel. They, no matter what they are talking about and all that, they know a little bit more of what they are handling and what they are managing. Please listen to them, and please, even if the management or the CEO does not welcome their idea, try and review it again after a while and see if it is valid and applies to us. Value your facilities and pay the personnel appropriately. It means, look, there are in some firms where you have critical equipment, so expensive. You need somebody who is not looking left and right, but paying more attention to it, and who is not thinking of his or her pocket, or thinking of doing damage to that equipment. In hospitals and in sensitive places, let's pay appropriately to the personnel handling such situation. Recognition on completion, there are places and firms that undertake even renovation work, or you're opening a new office. When you conclude that project and all that, show appreciation. Say thank you to the team that actually carried out that. Is it the LAN, laying out of the LAN? Is it the laying out of the telephone? When they finish, when the IT personnel conclude this and is functional, please reward them accordingly. Take the HOD department out for lunch. That's for another day. On train and retrain, we have no choice. The world has become more dynamic, as we saw from the Volcker issue, and everything happening around us. We have to leave the old ways and learn the new ways, and retrain to continue and to catch up with the trend. Please let facilities personnel in your firm train and retrain. The same applies to every department. It helps minimize costs and it helps minimize time, run time. Thank you all.
Wow, the Oracle has spoken. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. That was some training that we should have paid serious money to attend. Thank you.
Actually, every training today actually needs a whole day on its own.
I know you did your
really do justice to it.
Well done. Thank you. I'm sure we've picked up one or two things. I have picked up a couple of things. I hope my facilities manager is on this program. Otherwise, we shall wear trousers together on Monday. All right, people, and that's it for all the presentations. I know that you will agree with me that justice has been done to these slides. Thank you so much. I want to thank the Oracle, Mr. Obioranya, who you really took us through this in such a short period of time. And I saw the entire content of your presentation, so I know that you had to rush through. And the same goes for my president, Joy. Thank you very much for multitasking today, despite your busy schedule. So if anyone has got questions, I only saw one on the chat box. So if you do have questions, this is a good time to drop your question on the chat box, because we will round up hopefully in the next 7 minutes. The only question that was asked that I saw on the chat box was that, what if you have partners that only review hard copies? And I know this is asked in relation to what Oracle said, and I know that he also answered it. He said you have to keep letting them understand the cost implication of all of these things. One of the things that we need to know as practice managers is that we must always know that everything is about bottom line. If you can let them see the figures, if you can tie it to cost and why they should do things, then behaviors, you know, it will be easy to change their habits, you know, and change those old behaviors. So I believe that you have to keep letting them, for example, Oracle said today that a rim used to be 5,000, now it's 11,000. That's more than a 100% increase. I mean, exactly. You can imagine if you calculate how many rims people use in a year because of this unnecessary printing, and you let management see it and they see it in millions, they will start adapting to reviewing on technology. We just need to keep pushing, and that's where courage comes in as the legal business support professionals. So are there questions that we need to take now? If you have questions, please, maybe you want to indicate, and let's see what we can do. But if it's all clear, then, you know, we will move to round up today's ALS. Anyone with a question? I'm happy to see show of hand, virtual hand.
Although I wanted to quickly mention the issue of drafts.
Okay, please go ahead.
In my firm, we have a policy on drafts, especially because of confidentiality. I mean, I've picked up quite a number of things from what Oracle has said, things that would be definitely in my last column of things to do, things to action almost immediately. One would be an HSC training on an annual basis. So it would be great if Oracle can just throw it out there, maybe on the platform, so that we all know where we can get, if you don't have an in-house person, someone that can do an HSC training. Anyone that probably takes Oracle's deck, his PowerPoint deck, and present in their office will definitely rise in profile, definitely. So I think that would be helpful. But the issue on drafts is that in my office, we have a policy around not using drafts because of confidentiality. I don't know if other people have that kind of policy, but what we try to do is, I think one of the points he had made earlier on, that nothing should be printed on hard copy except the final. Well, for other partners that like hard copy, we can keep working on them. But that was just the point I wanted to make. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Any other person? Or we're good to round up? Okay, it would appear so. So, Presido, closing remarks, please, to all our people on to raising the bar, even as we go on to the next quarter next month.
Before President, please, sorry. I just want to let participants know that the Secretariat, I'm sure, has all the slides and the recording of this session, this training. So you could as well request from the Secretariat later if you want any part of this, the Alan Secretariat. But most importantly, we need to be in Alan. My President, over to you.
Thank you so much, Oracle. The truth is that we feed off of each other. It's just so important that our association moves to the next level this year. There are a lot on the horizon for Alan. NBA has approached us, you know, to participate at different levels. There's just so much knowledge. Every time I hear from JBC, Benedicta, Busola is here. I mean, Busola is just fierce in terms of her courage. Abiola, you know, any administrator is just absolutely loaded. And it is so important, especially in the industry that we operate in. It is so important that we associate and that we strengthen our association, you know, because we are as good as we are together. Any person's input that is missing in this association diminishes us. And it's so important for us to strengthen our association, for us to talk about it more, for us to do much more, because we are better and stronger together. I know how many times, you know, I can drop anybody's name here. When I'm conversing, I probably should just use when I'm conversing with my partners, you know, on any subject whatsoever. I mean, there was a time I think I had a conversation with JVC. So when I was speaking with one of our partners, I mentioned that, and immediately that I always love the reaction. Whether it's I'm talking about the managing, the COO or the practice manager of this firm or that firm, anytime you mention it, they sit up. I see that change of reaction. And that is the power of association. I want to encourage every member of this association, let us give it the best. There is what you have that will drive us forward. Don't keep it back, don't hold it off. Let us, you know, step forward, get involved in all the departments. Tech is crying out for more people. We have amazing content that needs to be out there on a daily basis, you know, but we are all busy. And I always tell myself, the more I bend my back, you know, on my table, doing the work, and I do not get out there, you know, the more irrelevant I become. So it is very, very important that we raise the banner of the association. L&D needs help. Fumbi is working, you know, really hard, even plus the fact that she's not even here anymore. She's in school with a terrible workload. She's working so hard to push out L&D stuff, L&D timelines. She just finished with the framework, for instance. The framework took a lot of our time, and the L&D team. There's so much that we can do. Your network, your clouds, the persons you know, it will be very useful, and you will move your profile higher when you raise up the flag of Alan. Just to mention, if I may, I'll do very soon. The NBA, they've rolled out what is called their institute, the NBA Institute, and they've approached Alan. They want colleagues within us to come teach legal administration. And I can imagine how many people here, if you take just a topic on management from your experience, how much impact you will make in the legal industry. And they will begin to appreciate more what we do as professionals. I think that's all I would say today. Thank you so much for being here. Over to you, Odun. You have the final word.
Thank you, my president. Thank you. You've said it all. And please, may I also please encourage us to join the committees, as she has said. We're looking for more people to support us. We don't want to monopolize this role. It's a lot of work, and we know that we have brilliant people out there who can do much more than we can do, who've got their brains and all their abilities. So please join us, join committees. I will ask that committees be posted so that you can indicate which one you would like to be a part of. There's publicity and events. That's my committee. There's membership. There is also, and in publicity and event, we're really looking for people who are techie, social media savvy, who can help us, because we've been hearing that we don't have enough visibility. Many people say they've not heard of us, and we're doing so much more underneath. So we need to push ourselves out there. So if you're savvy, technologically or social media wise, please help us. We're looking for membership, people to join the membership team. We're looking for people in L&D. If you love training, if you can put up a curriculum, join the L&D team, and so on and so forth. So please, and also if you love raising funds and you have a large network and you speak and people hear you, Ebele is also looking for people to join her team, help us raise funds, so that when we raise funds, we do a lot of trainings and bring in facilitators from outside, so that we will have enough, to fund their payment and all that. We're happy to have facilitators from ALA, that's the United States of America Association of Legal Administrators. They want to collaborate with us, they want to join us. So please let's join this committee so that we can push forward even more. Thank you everyone for today. If there are no other comments from anyone, I think this is where we close. You've been fantastic since 1 o'clock to 3. I think it's 2 hours well spent. Thank you very much to our president. Thank you for taking time out to take us through the Alan 7 must of leadership. And I thank Oracle for taking time to put together that wonderful slides on facilities management. Thank you. So many things that I picked up from what you have taught today. I'm grateful. Grateful to you all for being here. And thank you. See you at the next Alan program, which will be soon. We are collaborating with NBA SBL very soon, and we will let you know.
For the MPA,
Yes, for the NBA SBL collaboration. Managing the partner roundtable with NBA SBL. So watch out for that, and please keep reading what's posted on the group so that you can keep yourself abreast and tell other people about Alan. Thank you very much. We will take charge of the legal industry. We are going to move as legal business support professionals. Yes, we can do it. Sure, we can. All right, people, have a great weekend. Please unmute and say something. Let's do a quick hello thing. Please unmute, feel free.
And even if you can't, awesome.
Hi, Jay. Good to see you.
Is this where you left
me? Thank you. My president, thank you so much. You don't want to see my notes. I made a lot of notes. I hope I will use this one.
Thank you.
It was an awesome session.
Thank you.
Debbie, let me see your face now, please. Thank you.
Good to see you.
So much. Hello, Temidayo.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you very much. I'm now in Lagos. I've been transferred to Lagos. I'm in Lagos.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Yes, last year, December, I settled into Lagos.
Oh, wow.
I'm in Lagos now.
Hey,
yes.
Let's know where you stay.
Look at you.
Benedicta.
Hi, guys. Yes, you won't believe I'm on the filling station.
Filling station.
Oh, I know. Oh, my goodness. I know.
Trying to source for fuel, but I heard everything and it was awesome.
Oh, dear.
Awesome.
Dear.
I mean, the people card here is very, Oracle just blew our heads out.
We
was giving secrets to facilities.
I'm telling you all the secrets.
I'm telling you.
It was all
Benedicta, you're looking very sweet, so you don't look like someone that is paying for fee.
Are you serious? If you see the way I've been begging here, oh my God, the country is just what it is. It's really
Can we take a selfie for?
Yes, please. Please turn on your video, quick selfie.
Turn on your video, selfie would be nice, so please.
Yes, you see,
where is everybody now? JPC, Busola, Tony, Reeves.
All right, put on your video.
Kemi, Kebs. I'm missing
your video. JPC, your video. Yes. Margaret, your video. Okay, let's go.
So you're not in Lagos. That's so good.
Okay, I'm coming to look for you. I'm coming, President. I'm coming to look for you because I really want to
Lagos.
Networking.
Oh.
Don't worry.
I need to do a lot in that area.
And do more.
Okay. All of us need to. Let's not just
I don't know.
Tied to our office.
Will there be any session in networking? Because I think some of us need to learn. Because I know it's something that one should have inside to come naturally, but some of us need to also learn this thing.
Yeah, we will. There is a lot that L&D has put in place, for all our learning sessions. So don't worry. We shall get to networking.
Okay.
And I think that the ALS, the next one might be physical to allow us to mingle, meet and mingle.
Yeah, and maybe we can have a bit more time together.
Come in, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay.
So have you taken it?
Okay. Well, I've taken some. I think Ijamato has taken some.
Yeah.
I have. I've taken the selfies.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Please, my president, can you can we think of holding one that has something to do with employer-employee relationship? See, there are a lot of toxicity in that area. They are laughing. They don't like saying the truth. Employer-employee relationship.
All right, we don't open this Pandora's box, so.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is that before we do the MP roundtable, we should probably have a conversation around this, because that MP roundtable is going to address certain issues, and I don't expect that. I don't expect. Biola, is that you?
Biola Johnson, we took a glimpse of you.
Hey, Biola. So before we do the MP, okay, so the team, Kemi's team is trying to put together the MP roundtable and talk with the NBA SBL president, Ayuli Jemide, and the outcomes that we want to see. So, but I think that we can open this Pandora box before the MP roundtable, because we are hoping, just as Mr. Jemide told us, during the MP roundtable, we are going to have all the MPs there, so we'll be able to address with them, and most respectfully, some of the shifts they need to have in terms of, all the talents in the room,
All right.
Because the industry is going nowhere except all the talents in the room are fully engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll get there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, all.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you very,
well.
much. Very enlightening session. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to know.
Thank you for
being
here.
You. All right, we're grateful. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
I have to pack up and leave this workspace now. Back to my house. Bye-bye.
Are you in your school? Oh, you went to work?
No. I came to my friend's company, so the staff are waiting for me to finish. I have to come because of light.
Oh my. That was really good. That was so packed. Well done.
Yes, thank God.
Oracle.
Okay.
Well done.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Ali, for the work. Thank you so much. You did good.
My pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye.
I'll send the recording shortly.
Okay, great. Thank you.